Hello, how are you doing, folks? Yes, it's been a while. The moderator to the stars, quote unquote, is back. Well, not so many stars nowadays, but I still moderate for some folks here and there. With that said, it's nice to kind of be back sitting at the computer. I've been able to the last we'll say a couple weeks now, I've been able to sit and with little to no pain. A little bit of a backstory upon that, in case some of you out there didn't know. At the beginning of March, I started getting a little bit of sciatica occurring in my back on the first Wednesday of the month. By the next Tuesday, I was needing to take an ambulance to emergency because it had gone from across my lower back all the way down my right leg into the top of my right foot. And some people will understand when I say this, but in the case of I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy, well, I'm afraid to say, yes, I would wish this on my worst enemy. Maybe it would make them smarten up. You have no idea the agony I've gone through. Well, sorry, let me correct myself there. There are some individuals that are still following me and subscribe to the channel that have gone through what I've gone through. And, I sympathize with what you went through in your time. If it's been once, or in some instances it's been multiple times, some people get it. Again, with finding out that when you're type 2 diabetic, you have increased risks of things, and sciatica flare-ups is unfortunately one of them. So I'm kind of hoping this is only a one-time shot, because this was extremely painful. Being single was not a very good thing to have occur when this was going on, because it really made it hard for you to be mobile and to get up and move around, to be able to make yourself meals and such. Or in a lot of instances, because again, like I mentioned about not being able to sit, being able to go and sit on the toilet is a little bit of a fairly hard task, especially if you're sitting down and your nerves get pinched and aggravated when you're sitting down on the seat, let alone any seat, period. So, needless to say, I was lucky to go to emerge. I was also lucky to have the ambulance attendant that came to attend to me. He was also someone as well who had dealt with sciatica. And he said, when he was asking me what was going on, I said, well, I've been laid up in bed for the last 2 days. And as he told me, he said, if you wouldn't have told me that, I would have stretchered you out of here. But in you telling me that, I'm making you walk to the ambulance. So he made me walk to the ambulance, and I was in excruciating pain. And literally, I got a pretty high tolerance, still a pretty high pain tolerance level, even though I'm now quite a bit older. I noticed basically around 40, your pain tolerance levels really start to change compared to like when you're younger. So I was in agony. I was wincing. I had tears pouring down my cheeks. It was so intense. Like when I finally got to see the emerge doctor at 2 a.m. when I went in there at 10:30 p.m. that night. She asked what my pain level was at. Right away, my response was pretty much a 10. I had to basically hobble around the waiting area because I couldn't sit down on anything. I could kneel on stuff that would give me a little bit of relief, but it wouldn't be for long. So luckily enough, they started me on some low-level morphine tablets and a nerve relaxer that apparently they had been used. She diagnosed me as having a severe case of sciatica, but felt that I would be able to recover it. So it is now May 2nd. So this is 10 weeks now. Today I went down to my first Thursday art class for the next 8 weeks, and I managed to walk down to the local Tim Hortons and up to the place where the art program was, and I had a little bit of soreness and tenderness in my hip area here in the front above my quadricep, but otherwise I felt good. That was until I went through the sitting doing the art today, which partially had to do with the chairs, partially because of still remaining sciatica. Most of the sciatica itself, though, is gone out of my back, gone out of the butt cheek, gone out of the hip, gone out of the knee area, and it's mostly gone out of the foot. I'm getting a little bit of residual pains and aches here or there, but for the most part, I'm doing good. In case anyone is wondering about sciatica, basically it's the biggest nerve that comes from your spine, and basically it starts from your spine, goes down here through your butt cheek, goes through your hip, then travels down your leg, around the right side of your knee, and then continues down into the top of your foot. And as I said, extremely painful. The only way I can describe it is, in my case, I was having severe Charlie horse-like feelings throughout my whole body in the area that was affected when it was at its peak, as well as burning. The last week that it was still staying around and lingering around, it burned all the way through my leg for like about 3 hours of a Tuesday afternoon. But then after that, it subsided. Also, in my case, I didn't have too much problems with pressure sensitivity as some people do on my actual leg itself. It was more closer to the derriere part I was having issues with pressure sensitivity. But in the one instance, heat was a big issue. If I had my house at a colder temperature, my leg would just flare up like crazy. I actually had to run my furnace in the mid to high 70s for like quite a few days over those early like 4 to 6 weeks of getting this. So I just finished the walk. I decided, because of something else, plus the way my leg was, I actually took a cab home. But the positivity was that I was able to walk from my home to downtown in my town, an additional 3 blocks. So if I work it out to kilometers, I probably walked about 2.3, 2.4 kilometers continuously without much of an issue. So to me, that's an awesome thing, considering how I was at the beginning of March with this. So beyond that, to give some other summaries, I've been diabetic 2 ever since 2020, 2021. It was finally figured out that I was, combined with my low-level depression, anxiety, and ADD inattentive type. For those that were curious about what I do have going on with me. In regards to my diabetes, my last blood work, even though I was going through sciatica during those 3 months, my A1C was a little up around the 7.3 range for us in Canada. For those of you in the US, that would be 730, which would make a lot of alarm bells go off if someone that was using the system in Canada, because 730, you pretty much would be dead. Sufficient to say. That said, my AC1 or A1C is still at a good range. They wanted to come back down, and the previous blood work I was like actually about 6.8. Kidney function's great. Everything seems to be in tolerance. Everything seems to be control. The Zig Duo that I take for my diabetes seems to be doing the job perfectly. Beyond that, the only nice kind of bonus about being sick with the sciatica was I dropped a few pounds, so I'm now down to around 247, compared to yonder day when some individual made fun of me because of my weight. So for example, to give you an idea, in 2019 I was like 350 pounds. I've managed to slowly knock the weight off between light exercise, calorie management, better eating, and as well some of the diabetic meds, since being finally diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, have helped to slowly knock that weight down. Again, not to preach to people or whatnot, but being morbidly obese, despite some peoples in societies claiming and wanting to be pro-obese, it is not fun. I will tell you that much. There is a lot of anguish that goes with it. A lot of things that you can't do when you're that heavy. So, again, I will leave it at that. So, because of the length of this video, I think I am actually going to cut it off here. So, I just want to thank everyone that has had me in their thoughts and their prayers over the last couple months in me trying to get over the sciatica. Thank you very much again. Again, I hope and wish the same positivity onto your life and your existence. Again, we need more positivity in the world and people with a positive mindset, so it's important. So with that said, everything's good, and this video is going to go up, and surprise, surprise, there will be a following video to this. What's going to be the video? Well, you'll have to keep tuned to the channel a little bit after this uploads and publishes to find out. Thanks again, everyone. I hope everyone has been in good health and good spirits. Take care, and be good to each other, and bye for now.